As Jace and his team explore the ancient structure, they uncover shocking secrets about humanity's history, secrets left by their enemies, the ones who had fought against Earth centuries ago. The warnings carved into stone reveal a truth far darker than anything they could have imagined. The past has returned to haunt them, and the galaxy will never be the same. The echoes of the warship's footsteps bounced off the smooth, alien walls as Jace and his team moved deeper into the massive structure. The pulsating energy from the heart of the relay continued to reverberate through the air, a constant hum that tugged at the edges of their minds. They had discovered the truth behind the message, but now they were about to uncover something far more dangerous. The deeper they ventured, the more they realized how little they understood. The technology of this place was beyond anything they had encountered, yet there was something undeniably human about it. Carvings on the walls, though covered in ancient dust, were unmistakable. Earth symbols, Earth's language. It was as if their ancestors had once built this structure, and someone, something, had returned to change the course of history. Jace's fingers traced the edges of a faded engraving, a circle surrounded by intricate patterns. It was a warning, but not just any warning. This one spoke of a threat buried deep in time, a conflict that humanity had long forgotten. "Think I've found something," Ferris called from the other side of the chamber. "Look at this." Jace moved quickly toward his officer. Ferris was kneeling by a stone tablet embedded in the wall, his flashlight casting long shadows across the intricate carvings. The symbols were foreign, but the meaning was clear. This was no ordinary message. It was a record of humanity's past, one that was dark, haunting, and filled with the weight of ancient enemies. Jace knelt beside him, eyes scanning the markings. "What is it?" Ferris's voice trembled slightly. "It's a warning. A history we've forgotten. Our ancestors. They fought against something far older than anything we've faced." Jace stood up, his mind racing. What kind of threat? Ferris looked up, his face pale. "It says they were warned. Our ancestors were warned, but they didn't listen. They thought they were invincible, and then they fell." Jace felt a cold chill creep down his spine. He'd known there were mysteries hidden in the stars, but this was something different. Humanity's past had been erased, hidden away for centuries. Now it seemed their ancestors had fought a war that the galaxy had tried to forget. They thought they had won, Jace muttered, reading over Ferris's shoulder. But the war never truly ended. It was only postponed. And now, whatever's left of that enemy, it's waking up. Back on the alien flagship, the council leader stood before the holographic projections, his hands clasped behind his back. The human fleet had entered orbit around the structure, and now the signal from the relay was growing stronger, its influence spreading across the galaxy. The structure, hidden for millennia, was finally revealing its secrets. "They've found it," one of the younger council members whispered, their voice shaking. "The humans. They've discovered the truth." The council leader's eyes remained fixed on the hologram. The truth had been buried in the shadows of time, waiting for the right moment to resurface. He had known this day would come, but now that it had arrived, he was not ready. The humans had unlocked something ancient, something that no one, not even the most powerful alien species, could have anticipated. "They will be the ones to undo everything," the leader murmured, more to himself than to the others. "The ones who destroyed their own world. And now they will unleash what they were never meant to understand." Jace stepped back from the stone tablet, his mind spinning. The carving spoke of a war long forgotten, one that had ended in humanity's defeat. They had fought an enemy that had been waiting, lying dormant, biding its time. The galaxy had thought that humanity's war was over, that their legacy had been sealed. But the truth was far darker. The enemy had not been destroyed. They had merely retreated. "Commander," Ferris said, breaking Jace's reverie, "there's more." Jace turned to see Ferris holding a small, metallic device, a relic hidden behind the stone tablet. It was an artifact, covered in dust and grime, but unmistakably of human design. Its surface was etched with the same symbols they had seen before. Ferris's fingers hesitated over the device's surface. "What do you think it is?" Jace didn't answer at first. His mind was racing. The device felt important, but how could they possibly know what it meant? This wasn't just an ancient relic, it was a key. A key to something much larger than they had ever imagined. Without thinking, Jace reached out and activated the device. A low hum filled the room, followed by the soft flicker of lights. The walls around them began to glow, revealing more symbols, more messages. The device had unlocked something else, something buried even deeper within the structure. And then, a voice echoed through the chamber. "Humanity," the voice intoned, deep and resonant. "You have awakened what should never have been found. You have unlocked the key to your past and the price of your future." The voice was unmistakable. It was a warning. But the question lingered. A warning from whom? The walls seemed to pulse with the energy of the message, as if the structure itself was alive, watching them, waiting for something. The hum grew louder, and a sense of dread filled the air. Jace's heart raced. The enemy, the one they had thought defeated, was not gone. It was waiting, and it was ready to rise again. Jace Warren stood at the center of the chamber, the air. Around him thick with static as the ancient device pulsed in his hands. The voice that had echoed through the room was not just a warning, it was a promise. The realization settled in like a weight on his chest. This wasn't just about uncovering humanity's forgotten past. It was about facing the consequence of that past. The holographic projections around him flickered, revealing fragments of an ancient war, a battle that had raged across the stars. He could see images of ships, once sleek and powerful, now lying broken in the void. The hologram showed images of a people, a species that had once been the mightiest in the galaxy. They had built their empire, their technology, but something had gone wrong. They had fought a war against an ancient enemy, one that had been buried, forgotten, until now. Ferris stood beside him, his face pale as he observed the images on the screen. This was humanity's greatest defeat, Ferris said quietly. But who were they fighting? And why did we never know about it? Jace's fingers tightened around the device. "I don't know yet," he replied. "But whatever it was, it's not over. And now it's waking up." The walls of the ancient structure around them began to hum, their resonance increasing in intensity. The pulse of energy from the device was like a heartbeat, its rhythm growing stronger, more urgent. The air seemed to vibrate, a constant reminder of the power they had just unlocked. "Commander, I'm detecting movement." One of the officers called from across the room, his voice strained. "It's coming from outside. Several alien ships have entered the system. They're approaching fast." Jace's heart skipped a beat. The alien forces had been monitoring their progress, but now it seemed they were finally making their move. The relay, the device, the secrets they had uncovered had all drawn them in. They knew what was at stake. "Can we move the warship?" Ferris asked, his voice laced with urgency. "We're not going anywhere," Jace answered, his gaze fixed on the device. "We've come too far. And if they want this, they'll have to fight us for it." The alien fleet appeared on the horizon like a dark cloud, their ships moving with precision as they approached the relay's location. The Council's forces, once confident and indomitable, now found themselves faced with something they had not anticipated. The humans had uncovered the truth of their past, and now the stakes had changed. On the flagship of the alien fleet, the Escan Council leader stood before the projection, his face grim as he observed the approaching human warship. The message from the Earth relay had been heard, and the reaction was swift. The humans had not only discovered the relay, they had activated it, and now they were in possession of something that could change the galaxy forever. "We should have destroyed it," the young council member muttered, his voice tinged with frustration. "We should have obliterated the relay before they had a chance to reach it." The council leader's eyes remained fixed on the hologram. "It is too late now. The humans have the relay. They hold the key to something far more dangerous than we anticipated." "Then what do we do?" another member asked, a hint of fear creeping into their voice. "We prepare for war," the council leader said, his voice steady but filled with resolve. "The relay must be contained. If the humans want it, they will have to fight us for it." Back on the human warship, the crew worked tirelessly to prepare for the incoming battle. Jay stood in the command center, his eyes focused on the view screen. As the alien fleet grew larger on the horizon, the tension in the air was palpable, but Jace remained calm. They had come this far, and they weren't going to back down now. The galaxy had thought humanity was extinct, but now the truth was out. The enemy that had defeated them, that had driven them to the brink of extinction, was about to rise again, and humanity was ready to face it. "Commander, the alien fleet is in position," Ferris reported, his voice tight with anxiety. "There, preparing to engage." Jace turned toward the officer. "Ready the weapons. We'll meet them head on." As the alien ships closed in, the hum of the warship's engines grew louder, a deep, vibrating resonance that mirrored the tension in Jace's chest. The ancient structure behind them seemed to pulse with a power that was both threatening and invigorating. This was no longer just about reclaiming Earth's legacy, it was about survival. Humanity had once been lost, forgotten. Now they had a chance to prove that they had more to give. The galaxy would remember their name. The first shots rang out, piercing the silence of space. The alien fleet unleashed a barrage of energy blasts, their weapons bright against the darkness of the void. But the human warship was not unprepared. The shields flared as they absorbed the impact, holding steady against the assault. "Return fire," Jace ordered, his voice steady despite the chaos unfolding around them. The warship's cannons fired. In response, the blast streaking through the emptiness and colliding with the alien fleet. The first alien ship was hit, its shields flickering before collapsing under the power of the human weaponry. It exploded into a brilliant burst of light, debris scattering into the void. The crew cheered, but Jace didn't join them. This was just the beginning. They hadn't come this far to lose now. "Keep pushing forward," Jace said, his voice cold and determined. "We're not stopping until we've secured the relay." The alien fleet regrouped, their ships now moving in a more coordinated fashion, firing in rapid succession. The battle intensified, the weapons of both sides lighting up the dark expanse. Like a deadly dance, Jace's grip on the console tightened as he watched the enemy ships maneuver, trying to find a weakness in their defenses. "Commander, they're flanking us," Ferris called out. "We can't hold out much longer." Jace's eyes narrowed. He knew they couldn't sustain this fight forever. But there was something else at play here. The relay had more power than they could comprehend, and that power had to be used before. The battle was lost. "Prepare the secondary systems," Jace ordered. "We'll turn their own weapons against them." Outside, the alien fleet continued its assault, unaware that their fate had already been sealed. The Earth relay had awakened, and it had chosen humanity to carry its legacy. The galaxy would tremble before the power of Earth's past. And this time, humanity wasn't going to let anyone stand in their way. The warship's engines roared as the battle raged around it, streaks of energy fire lancing through the cold void of space. The alien ships had regrouped after their initial wave of attacks, but humanity's warship held its ground. The shields flickered with each blast, but the crew was holding steady. Their weapons were cutting through the alien fleet with brutal efficiency, and with every explosion, Jace felt the rush of adrenaline course through his veins. "Commander, we've taken down 2 of their cruisers," Ferris reported, his voice filled with a mix of triumph and disbelief. "The fleet is weakening, but we still have multiple vessels closing in." Jace didn't respond immediately. He was watching the screen, calculating their next move. The alien ships were powerful, but they lacked the coordination of the humans. There was an edge to humanity's desperation that the aliens hadn't anticipated. "Keep pushing forward," Jace ordered, his voice calm and unwavering. "We'll hold them here. We need more time to decipher what's inside that relay." The crew worked in perfect synchrony, each member doing their part to ensure the warship's survival. Jace knew the alien fleet couldn't be allowed to take the relay or the knowledge within it. He had to buy them more time. Time to understand what lay ahead, what threat humanity was truly facing. In the command center of the alien flagship, the council leader's face was twisted in frustration. The humans had put up an unexpectedly strong fight. Their crude weapons, their simple ships, how were they overpowering them so easily? The answer was obvious now. The humans had something they didn't. They had the relay. The knowledge that the relay held was too valuable, too dangerous to let humanity keep it. "We cannot let them control the relay," the council leader said, his voice cold. "If they unlock the full potential of that ancient structure, we are doomed." Another council member, an older alien, spoke up. "But we've underestimated them. They fight with the fury of those who have nothing left to lose. That's exactly why we must stop them before they realize their full potential," the council leader snapped. "Prepare for the final strike. We'll engage their ship directly and force them to retreat." A tactical officer standing nearby hesitated before speaking. "Sir, we have something unexpected. The humans aren't just fighting. They're activating something from within the relay. We're picking up massive energy spikes." The council leader's eyes narrowed. "Activate the countermeasures. We cannot afford to lose any more ground. We need to stop them before they awaken whatever power lies within that structure." Back on the human warship, Jace and his team were deep inside the relay, desperately working to decipher the ancient system. The pulsing energy continued to grow stronger with every passing second, and now it was beginning to feel like the structure itself was alive. The walls seemed to pulse with a rhythmic energy, as if responding to the team's every movement. "Commander, this is it," Ferris said, his voice filled with urgency. "We've unlocked the primary sequence. The relay is sending data. It's ancient. It's not just from Earth. It's from everywhere." Jay stepped forward, his heart racing. "What do you mean, everywhere?" Ferris looked up from his console, eyes wide with disbelief. The relay was used by multiple species. Earth, yes, but also others. There are star maps, systems that were wiped out, histories that were lost. This is more than just a warning. It's a record of everything. Jace's mind raced. This was more than just a relic of humanity's past. The relay had stored information from ancient civilizations that had fought in the same war that humanity had been part of. It was the ultimate archive. But there was something more, something darker hidden beneath the surface. "Is there anything about the enemy?" Jace asked, his voice strained with the realization. "Anything about the one who defeated us?" Ferris's fingers flew over the console, the screen flashing rapidly as he sifted through the data. "Yes, there's a reference. It's a race, a species that once roamed the galaxy, but they were not destroyed. They disappeared, and it looks like they've been watching, waiting." Jace's heart sank. They're the ones who have been dormant. They're the ones who've been waiting for us to unlock this, and now they're coming. Outside, the alien fleet was regrouping for a final assault. Their ships closed in on the human warship, weapons charged and ready. Jace could see their movements in real time, the formations tightening as they prepared to make their move. The humans had fought valiantly, but this wasn't just about weapons anymore. It was about time. They were running out of it. Brace for impact. Ferris shouted, his voice filled with panic. The alien ships fired in unison, a barrage of energy that slammed into the human warship's shields. The entire ship shuddered as the impacts reverberated through the hull. "We can't hold this much longer," an officer shouted from across the room. The shields were weakening, and the ship was taking on damage. Jace's hand tightened on the console. He had to make a decision. The relay, whatever it had unlocked, was their only hope. If they didn't figure out how to use it, they would be lost. The enemy would be free to roam the galaxy, wiping out everything in their path. "Activate the secondary systems," Jace said, his voice cold with resolve. "We're going to use the relay's power to fight back." Ferris looked at him, disbelief written across his face. "You want to use it as a weapon?" "If it's the only way to survive," Jace said, his gaze hard, "we'll do whatever it takes." The energy in the relay grew exponentially, a pulse of raw power that shook the very core of the warship. As Jace activated the final sequence, a blinding light enveloped the ship. The ancient force within the relay responded to the human's command, shifting its energy and unleashing a shockwave of power that rippled through space. The alien fleet reeled, their ships caught in the wave of energy. For a moment, everything seemed to freeze, the universe holding its breath as the human's fate hung in the balance. And then, the shockwave hit, sending the alien fleet spiraling into disarray. Jace's voice was steady, but his words carried the weight of a galaxy forever changed. This is humanity's answer, and we're not going to stop. The pulse of energy from the Earth relay continued to radiate through space, rippling outward in a wave of destructive power. The human warship shields flickered, then stabilized, absorbing the immense force that had been unleashed. On the view screen, the alien fleet was thrown into chaos. Ships twisted and spun as the shockwave tore through their ranks, their systems overloaded by the sudden surge of power. Jace Warren stood motionless, his eyes fixed on the screen, watching as the alien fleet struggled to recover. The battle was far from over, but the humans had gained a crucial advantage. The relay had done what their weapons could not: level the playing field. But at what cost? "Commander," Ferris said, his voice tense, "the energy readings from the relay are spiking again. We've never seen anything like this." Jace's heart raced. The raw power they had unlocked from the ancient relay was overwhelming, more than they had ever imagined. What had once been a symbol of humanity's forgotten past had now become their most dangerous weapon. And yet, it was clear that this power wasn't meant to be wielded by anyone, not even by those who had unlocked it. "Can we control it?" Jace asked, his voice low but urgent. Ferris hesitated. "I don't know, Commander. The system is unstable. We've tapped into something ancient, something not meant for us." Jace turned away from the screen, his mind racing. The power to destroy. The power to reshape the galaxy. The energy coursing through the relay was more than just a weapon. It was a doorway. A doorway to something far greater, something the galaxy had forgotten. "This is bigger than us," Jace murmured. "We've unlocked something that could change everything. But we need to make a choice." On the alien flagship, the council leader's face was etched with frustration and fear. The shockwave from the relay had crippled their fleet, but it was not just the damage that concerned him. It was what the humans had awakened. That device, it is more than just a weapon. the council leader said, his voice strained. The humans have tapped into something that was never meant to be unleashed. The galaxy itself is shifting. A younger council member spoke up, his voice full of disbelief. How could they have done this? The humans, how did they access? The power of the relay? The council leader's eyes narrowed. It was buried for a reason. The relay was not meant to be activated. The energy it contains is not just power, it's a force. A force that could undo everything we've worked for. The humans have become a threat. But if they control it, another council member started, his voice faltering. If they control it, the leader interrupted. They will be the ones to decide the fate of the galaxy. We cannot allow that to happen. Back on the warship, the crew was tense, the silence thick with the weight of the decision that loomed over them. Jace paced in front of the holographic map of the galaxy. The alien fleet was regrouping, their ships limping back into formation. But it was clear they had been dealt a blow. And the humans, despite their initial victories, were now facing a much larger question. Should they use the power of the relay to finish the fight? Should they press on and destroy their enemies, ensuring their place in the galaxy once again? Or should they shut it down, risk everything, and try to find another way? Commander, Ferris said, interrupting his thoughts, the relay is calling to us. The power, it's growing stronger. It wants to be used. Jace stopped pacing, his gaze fixed on Ferris. Wants to be used? His voice was tinged with disbelief. What do you mean? The relay, Ferris continued. It's alive. It's more than just a device. It's a consciousness. I can feel it, Commander. It's offering us power, offering us the chance to reshape the galaxy. But if we take it, we risk becoming like the very thing we're fighting. Jace's mind raced as the weight of Ferris's words settled in. The relay had always been a symbol of humanity's forgotten history, but now it was clear it was more than that. It was a doorway to an ancient power that could change everything, and not necessarily for the better. The crew waited in silence as Jace considered the impossible choice before him. The galaxy had forgotten Earth. The relay had brought them back. But now the question remained. What would they do with the power they had unlocked? We fight, Jace said, his voice steady but filled with the weight of his decision. We fight to win. We don't use the relay's power to destroy. We use it to survive, to protect what's ours. The crew nodded in agreement, their faces resolute. They had come this far, and they weren't going to stop now. Jace turned back to the screen, watching as the alien fleet regrouped, their ships now appearing as distant shadows on the edge of the galaxy. The final battle was coming, but it was not just about victory. It was about humanity's place in the stars, about proving they had a future, that they were not the forgotten species the galaxy had once believed them to be. Prepare the ship, Jace said, his voice cold with resolve. We're heading into the heart of the galaxy. We finish this once and for all. As the warship powered up, the hum of the relay in the background seemed to grow louder, like a heartbeat that matched their own. The future of the galaxy now rested in their hands.